Hello, everyone. Welcome to NJAI Solution Podcast, where we turn AI into real business results. I'm your host, Nikunj Takur, founder of NJAI Solution. Really excited for today's conversation. I'm joined by Hassan Terry, founder of ALT5D, a company that's doing some interesting things at the edge of e-commerce, local marketing, and creator tech. They are building what they call a e-commerce platform with things like Discord-based CRM, token rewards, and ATL dollars, and tools for creators to sell and engage on TikTok. Hassan, it's great to have you on the show today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate this opportunity.
So let's dive in. Let's start with some basics. What is e-commerce in your own words, and how it is different from traditional e-commerce?
Good question. E-commerce, as we know, is self-explanatory. The difference in the e-commerce versus d-commerce is it's a digital asset. So the D stands for digital asset. And in regards to the differences, there's no middleman in between the transaction, which solves a lot of challenges that e-commerce sellers have with the amount of middleman fees that take place in a transaction, leaving the seller with little, the end scraps of those transactions. So e-commerce is a solution to that problem. It allows a traditional file, which could be an MP3, a PDF, it could be any type of file format, to be tokenized as a NFT, which stands for non-fungible token, to allow a buyer, anybody in the world, to buy it with crypto and pay. And a peer-to-peer transaction takes place between two people, and there's no middleman fees. So it makes the transaction process simple as possible.
So basically, you help e-com owners to cut the middleman and save their money, right?
Yes. So just an example, to segue of what you just said, e-commerce owners can tokenize their physical products. In Asia and certain countries, the digital is now currently valued more than the physical, to the point where they're giving the physical away when you purchase the digital. So that's the I would say blueprint of e-commerce, is that you have the flexibility and you can barter or you can negotiate the way that you want to, um, the utility of the e-commerce product can be negotiated, and that gives a lot of freedom to the seller and to the buyer to, barter the e-commerce product any way they see fit.
So tell us how you started ALT5D and how did you come up with the concept of e-commerce?
Great question. ATL5D is the second coming of a previous ATL company that I owned that was very successful, which I ended up selling. And I got into other ventures. And with this opportunity of blockchain and having the ability to help content creators like myself sell their content in the form of e-commerce, will change the social media game as we know it. As you know, you can't sell your content on Facebook or TikTok. That will never happen. That platform, based off of the ad policies, like YouTube, for example, has a 70-30 split with content creators. They would never be able to fully incorporate blockchain because that would go against their middleman fees. So, which resulted in me building ATL5D and a series of social media platforms for every different business that is decentralized, meaning there's no central point of content for the content that's being uploaded, which would prevent the T app that just recently got hacked. That hack happened because that content was centralized, which allowed a hacker to hack it. So, as a solution to that, having a social media platform that is decentralized, the platform itself doesn't own the content. The content is owned by the users who tokenize it. And with our marketplace being e-commerce, all you have to do is DM me to tokenize a picture or a short video, 11 seconds or less. And as a blockchain nonprofit, we teach and we help content creators earn 100.
So I noticed that you heavily lean on platforms like Discord and TikTok. Why did you prefer those platforms over others as a foundation of your product?
I wouldn't say rely heavy. I think you have to have some leverage just when scaling to utilize bigger platforms to start to build your following or your community. So TikTok specifically, it has more freedom to scale. And when you're starting a new product or a new, social media channel, you would have to spend, double the amount of time on Facebook or Instagram to scale, to really start growing that page. In comparison to TikTok, it doesn't have the same issues.
So you offer brand TikTok content, Discord CRM, and marketing. How does these elements help you to convert sale and build loyalty?
As I was mentioning earlier, people have to see and feel the product, social media wise, and get a vibe for it to really be consistent enough to want to join or, kind of learn more. It takes on the average 3 times to see something before if you're blocking it out or you're ignoring it, to be like, oh, maybe I need to look into that. So with ATL5D, in comparison to TikTok or any other social media channels, we use our social media channels to boost our social media users' content, which is a different strategy than if you can imagine a TikTok or any other platform. Those platforms use their social media only for their interpersonal company content. I changed that to utilize ATL5D as a shared resource for Atlanta versus a centralized group of people making all the decisions for the platform. Those decisions are made amongst the community with open blockchain voting and more advanced technology that allows us to see everything happening in Atlanta and have the ability to vote on what decisions are made on ATL5D. So, our platform is very tapped into the economy, specifically with the ability to book services. But our major goal is to distribute ATL to as many residents as possible with no risk or no traditional buy-in. When you book on ATL5D, we airdrop you ATL to tip and to onboard on chain with the end goal to get as many people on chain in Atlanta and make it a game and make it fun and make learning fun because at this day and age nobody wants to learn anything new. So we have to make it fun.
So yeah, making learning fun is a good thing. So you have got something called ATL tokens. Can you elaborate on more on that? How does that help you on your platform?
Yeah, so I was briefly touching on that. It's a meme coin on Solana and Telegram, and it allows us to have manual transactions as a solution to AI. The way that I see AI advancing, anything that is automated will be able to be cloned by AI. So, as a solution to that, ATL allows everybody in the ATL to manually tip each other on chain so we can see as a public ledger who is doing real business. So we can separate AI business and who's paying for AI services versus who is paying humans and content creators as a solution to the way that I see AI advancing.
So are you against AI services or something like that?
No, our platform ATL5D teaches content creators how to sell AI services. But as you know, a lot of jobs are being replaced by AI. So it's important for the e-commerce to teach content creators how to utilize and leverage AI to sell services and help businesses that might not be as tech savvy on board and utilize this advanced tech.
So when you're measuring performance of your brand, what metrics do you look at? Is it engagement rate, number of people that use token or repeat purchase, or something else?
Good question. I would say my measure of success is how many people I help. As a Web5 purpose economy, I'm reformatting the measurements of success. They're skewed in the Web2 world with KPIs like financial metrics, numbers that will never, amass true success because they will always need to scale. And that's when you come into the problem of having a product or an MVP or a solution that can help people, but that initial concept of helping people with your advanced tech gets skewed when money comes into play and investors, and that's great and all, but it's an opportunity to create a social media that helps people from a purpose standpoint versus traditional social medias have lost their sauce in their original point of connecting people. Everybody can agree that social media platforms disconnect people. We traditionally brought people to these social media platforms, our friends and family, to only be disconnected, to only see content 7 days later, to only see, our friends sporadically amongst ads and the agendas or whatever is being pushed. So as a solution to that, ATL5D and all the social media networks have no algorithms. So that's the biggest solution in a sense. Atlanta residents on TikTok, businesses or non-businesses have to pay TikTok money to market to Atlanta. As a solution to that, as an Atlanta-based social media platform with no algorithms, you don't have to pay ATL5D to have hyper-local marketing in Atlanta. And the way that I see social media playing out, it's harder to market a business on social media for free. AI has figured out every keyword, every possibility of trying to brand organically. And once it detects that you're trying to market your business, it will throttle your content and your content won't be seen. You get 2 likes and maybe 200 views. And the only solution to that is hyperlocal social media marketing from a nonprofit space with the mission to help people and not just the profit, because profit comes with purpose. We learned it all wrong. So now it's our opportunity to relearn the profit economy from a place of purpose, because crypto allows us to do both, to help each other, work with each other, support each other on chain around the world. We can see who's really active in whatever purpose that we're all united for and who's putting in work. So as ATL5D has a leaderboard that showcases who's putting in work in Atlanta to allow us to see the new leaders of the city, because previously Web2, when you say who's the leader of a city, that's a title given to them. It's not earned, so as a solution to that, you can tip, and businesses unfunded that provide the most services will receive and distribute the most ATL around the city, which allows us to reward them and showcase them and highlight them as if, I would say like an ESPN highlight, where we can, showcase the plumber of the day who had the most services, given to Atlanta community. Things like that are important and allow us to reevaluate what we value as content. So having the ability to sell reviews based out of Atlanta, having the ability to live stream and take a highlight from a live stream and turn it into a meme coin and turn it into a short e-commerce clip that can be sold. These are the type of new strategies that we're implementing for content creators to monetize their content that can't be done anywhere else. So after being banned from Reddit X amount of times, after being banned from LinkedIn, losing over 8,000 followers for talking about Bitcoin, after being banned from YouTube channels for talking about my nonprofit solutions, specifically like Bitcoin tokens are created, AI can't tell the difference between somebody talking about crypto for purpose or profit. So I told myself that I was going to reserve a lot of my knowledge for my own platforms once they're built, to talk about them and tokenize it. So my go-to marketing strategy for ATL is to talk about my story and my journey, but to chop it up into small, short clips that allows anybody who's interested in learning e-commerce to learn by investing into my story, to allow me to see who is invested into my solution. And then I will scale from there and work with them and give them all access to a small group on ATL5D, which allows them to ask me questions and onboard. I will be able to onboard small groups and scale from there.
So as of now, are you just catering in Atlanta or all over United States?
Good question. So Atlanta is the most influential city in America when it comes to entertainment, when it comes to music. Playing off of that, Atlanta has influenced advanced tech in ways where this was the perfect city to launch a fully decentralized tokenized city. So we're utilizing the musicians, the entertainers, and all the who's to allow them to remove the middleman and sell their content. And that will scale to all different cities, but this will be the initial blueprint. And we do one of the social media networks that's in the ecosystem is called Jersey Club. And that's more or less for Jersey and geared towards Jersey Club music. So I have different social media channels like RFP Auction is a social media decentralized network that allows you to upload RFPs, and Rent Social is also a centralized network for renting, and it allows you to rent Airbnb like houses and rentals tokenized as NFTs, which act as timeshares and allows everybody involved into the community to rent amongst each other. So it's a complete ecosystem. ATL is just the launch pad. And then you'll be able to carry your assets to all the different social media channels, platforms.
So what kind of creators or business does ATL is most useful for so far?
Good question. We're launching Uber drivers first, delivery drivers. I'm currently in Atlanta. A lot of Uber drivers are silently being replaced by Waymo. So as a solution to that, we're offering premium driver services based off of a different metric than the traditional Uber metric of distance. We've created a donation model that allows a person to book a driver and pay them, and only 5% of the fee that's paid to the driver is being used for the platform, in comparison to Uber that takes 50% up to 50% from every trip. So as a solution to that, our platform only takes 5%, and it allows the drivers to earn bookings and continue to help residents in the city.
Looking ahead, what's one thing that you are excited to launch in the next 6 to 12 months? And what are the challenges that are holding you back?
I think everything is an excitement. I think just, having the ability to make history with every transaction, pretty much. So if you can imagine, every use case of ATL5D is blockchain history, because, the first, for example, the first hairstylist to accept ATL was blockchain history. All the milestones of the use cases of ATL5D in the real world is a case study, and is monumental in the grand scheme of things, because that person is going to be the pioneer of doing that, which is going to allow them to be able to monetize their knowledge of blockchain and e-commerce by being the first to do it. So I'll work with the from a high level overview, people who I feel that can lead a business industry, and they don't have the traditional backing or finances that a funded business will have. But with this advanced technology, we can leverage the playing field, and we can, strategize and create campaigns that outperform a funded business. So that's what I'm excited about.
Okay, so are you looking to increase your number of users or introducing new service in the near future or not?
Yeah, of course. I think that's always everybody's end goal, is to scale. I just think that, as long as everybody's having fun, it will be successful. And everybody's vibe is in unison, it will naturally scale. And I think that's the greatest excitement, is the excitement that you give others, and helping others learn. Once that light bulb goes off and they learn how e-commerce works, there's no going back to e-commerce, because you don't have all the traditional challenges that you would have, with shipping, reviews, or just the overhead of having to ship one product, for an unfunded business. I've been there. So I've went through the journey of entrepreneurs on all levels to be able to create solutions based off of me understanding their challenges.
So obviously you have used a lot of AI. Any tools or trend that you're excited about?
Yeah, good question. I think that AI will evolve to create characters and marketing strategies that are affordable for unfunded businesses. To be able to create a Pixar-like quality 8-second ad for your business, that's a game changer. And as a blockchain nonprofit, we offer $55 ads that can be tokenized, that can be utilized to help small businesses level the playing field with bigger businesses that have the budget for a Disney-like Pixar advertisement. So I think that's exciting within itself. And once everybody learns how this works in their favor and e-commerce works for you versus e-commerce, you have to work for e-commerce, it will put USA in the golden age of crypto. And I think that's, to scale this much so far with crypto and the masses barely scratching the surface of its use case, I think that's exciting within itself.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights with the audience. For any listener who might like to connect with you, what's the best way to reach out?
I would say Wizard of Oz on Twitter, X, or TikTok, Wizard of Oz. So HAHZ and Wizard of HAHZ. So it's on the screen, and that's just minus the. That's how you reach me.
Thank you so much.